This film contains adult language. There are 17 swear words carefully placed throughout. Kids, can you find them?
The views expressed on this podcast are that of the host and may not coincide with your own. Don't let that deter you from listening with an open mind. The UAP report will be printed in mass quantities is to avoid another pandemic shittigate. Lastly, the shit talk is explicit and your virgin mind is about to get probed. Let's get the show started, fuckers.
This is the Tempest Universe.
Welcome to the 69th episode of the Tempest Universe. Episode 69. Yeah, why not, right? Might as well. Might as well after Saturday's performance of the Dark Horde podcast. Have mercy. What the hell went down? I literally cannot explain. I can't explain any of it. It was so crazy. Our guest didn't show up. And then the Asgardians just took over. Half the time I was just sitting there laughing my ass off, but I don't know. I've been contemplating whether or not that translates into a podcast episode. Almost 3 hours, by the way, of a lot of shenanigans and some really strange history being shared on the podcast. But you know, what can you do? That's what happens when your guest doesn't show up. I know it never happened to Art Bell and it never happened to George Knapp or any of those guys, right? It's just the Tempest Universe. This is why we will never make it to the, the top 5 UFO podcasts, because for fuck's sake, this is terrible. Terrible. By the way, if you're not a normal, everyday listener or weekly listener, you are not informed, because today is Shitty Monday, the worst day of the week. You guys have to admit that. It is the worst day of the week. And for you guys who are new, we celebrate the shittiest day of the week by drinking vodka. So the preferred beverage for this episode is vodka. If you're at work, please run out to your trunk. Get that stash you had from last year during the height of COVID, which is coming back again. It's making a comeback. I mean, it's like this is like the Wuhan flu is like the LL Cool J of diseases. So don't call it a comeback. It's been for a few years. This is what we're dealing with. Complete madness in the world. I don't even want to get into Afghanistan, for fuck's sake. I'd rather just stay in the lovely world of aliens and pygmies, because that's where the action's at. And UFOs too, right? Government and all that good stuff. I mean, really, that's a safe zone, but not if you're into religion. Like, if you're a religious person, you're questioning a lot of things right now, thanks to the U.S. government. We'll get into those stories, and I don't understand it, to be honest, really. I mean, you can separate the two, for fuck's sake. Come on, stop being such a coward. You can separate the two. They don't have to go hand in hand, like Jack and Jill. That's one thing we're dealing with in the articles today, is religion. Folks, haven't you realized ufology is a religion? Come on. We're doing that. We got a couple articles dealing from different perspectives on the issues of religion and aliens. Like anyone really cares, but I'm going to share it with you. Then we're going to talk about a new website that apparently says they've got a UFO database. I checked it out. We'll talk about that also. And lastly, the topic of probing. There's and I mentioned Art Bell because this article has to do with, I believe it has to do with Art Bell. I'm not sure. Not sure who the host was at that time on Coast to Coast, which was talking to this gentleman back in, about his incident back in '89. But listen, I sat around before the podcast and I was kind of thinking about this, right? It's like we go through cycles, right? Like when you're really like, all spry and young, you want to conquer the world, maybe like between 17 and mid to late 20s, right? You're like, what? Probings? Oh no, sir. No, I will take you on. You will take on any alien. You're like, oh, I'll give you some of my man meat, Mr. Gray. That's how you take on the topic of probing, right? And then you get into like your midlife. You get into your early 30s, all the way up to like your mid 40s. You're driving your Corvette. You've tried some New Age science, religion, some shit like that, and you're like, you're not into the alien shit. It's like, no, I can't be bothered right now. I need my Corvette, or I need my, GT350 Mustang, or my 1960s GTO or some shit like that I just put back together with Legos. So you're not really into that. But then when you get into your late 40s until you drop dead, you're thinking, fuck, I need to figure this out. You literally will walk around with a little belt tied to your butthole trying to get the aliens to probe you because you might miss out on something. Because you spent this time of denial. Okay, you don't even live in Egypt. But now is a race against time. Because at any time, the Wuhan flu can take you out. Your neighbor could take you out. Someone could be drunk driving and take you out. You turned your back on ufology, but you want to come back into the fold and you want to give it all up just to, you can see that ship. I feel that's where Dre is right now. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know if he'll ever give it all up for ET. But there's one person that we're going to talk about towards the end of the podcast that he was kind of forced to give it up. And, this is, I'm going to be honest, this story probably has the most descriptive way of trying to explain what a probing is. And I puckered up. I'm going to tell you that right now. There was no freebies here. Anyway, that's where we're going to go today. So hold on to your big girl panties and get your vodka poured. I do want to say that we were advised today that Dre and Davina out of South Texas are celebrating an anniversary today. So, all this music that I'm going to play today is all about them. Believe it or not. Actually, they picked it. Dre picked the music, so congratulate him and also let him know what his style of music, what it does for you. So let's play our first track and get the show on the road. Maybe we won't play it. Maybe we'll just sit here and look at the board. Alright, for fuck's sake, what the hell's going on?
Where did you come from? I never planned to fall in love, but then again, no dice. Can I call you tonight? I'm dying to see your smile. I just wanna say I got you red-handed, and now you're holding on my heart. It's not a problem if it's ours and ours alone. I got you red-handed, and I'm just wishing to the stars that we can keep this on forever and ever. Damn girl, we need to talk. Don't think you'll know just how involved I am. It's critical to me that we stand eye to eye, you see. Can I call you tonight? I'm dying to see your smile. I just wanna say I got you red-handed, and now you're holding on my heart. It's not a problem if it's ours and ours alone. I got you red-handed, and I'm just wishing to the stars that we can keep this on forever and ever. I got you red-handed, and now you're holding on my heart. It's not a problem if it's ours, and I was alone, I got you red-handed, and I'm just wishing to the stars that we can keep this on forever and ever.
Yeah, the funny thing after Saturday's YouTube episode. By the way, if you want to see the Asgardians, please go to the YouTube channel that I believe is linked to the description. I don't even know. And you can watch the Asgardians as they take over the episode that was meant to be for tarot card readings. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. As Adam Baum put it to me today, with your type of audience, I'm sure that'll fit in just right. Yeah, he said that. Diana Pasulka. What a great name that is. Say that 3 times. A professor of religious studies at the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. Apparently, she's been doing the rounds and actually garnered some attention when, in 2017, the New York Times was looking for people to talk to about UFOs, right? Because we had all these videos that came out. And, they try to talk to her about it, and, she did her thing or whatever. But we know that there's a Showtime special titled UFO that's on Showtime. And there was actually one free episode you can watch on YouTube. If you haven't caught it, it's okay. It's up there as far as quality and stuff like that. But I don't know. Is it enough to pay for a Showtime subscription? I don't know. I mean, I'll wait for the rest of the episodes to come out free. I pay for enough shit. I mean, that's how they get you. Pay for this, pay for that, pay this on demand, pay that on demand. For fuck's sake, really. Give my pocketbook. Not my pocketbook. Give my wallet a break, for fuck's sake. Pocketbooks is only Saturday nights. Anyway, so she apparently is in this discussion with a lot of people who are in ufology and know what's going on. She's into the religion of the years. I mean, we're talking about back into old European Catholics, back in the Bible days, where people claim to have sightings of objects, orbs, and even lights or spinning suns. That's where her focus of the religion and the crossing of ufology is. So basically, she is in that spot where a lot of people find themselves looking into things like ancient aliens. How ancient aliens are basically documented for us in biblical scripts, where religions may have at one point crossed into that area, which has become a popular TV series. That's what she does. She's written a couple of books about it. And that's what she's looking for. She says that a lot of times that communities kind of like separate that belief between religion and aliens, but there are some communities out there that are attempting to normalize UFO discussions. And really, in order for UFOs and aliens to cross paths and live happily ever after, there has to be a way for the normalization of UFO discussions. She makes note in a lot of her writing that pilots and astronauts have often been discouraged from, providing any information or publicly coming out and speaking about the weird things that happen in the sky. There's a quote from her in this particular article that says, however, there is a huge culture of people who believe in them but didn't talk about them. She says that that's why I call it Fight Club. Because the first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. Is there truth to that? I don't. Yes. Let me stop fucking around. The answer is yes. People do not talk about UFOs, even now today. I guarantee you that most of the people that listen to the podcast, even though they're on here, probably listening to the most ridiculously raunchy podcast they've ever come across regarding the topic, for fuck's sake. They will not, out of the blue, step up to someone they know and say, hey, how about that UFO last night? What'd you think about it? They won't. Not because it's not a topic or a conversation they should be discussing, let's say at work or at the local pub. It's because they're afraid to look like they're crazy, to look deranged. But the problem is that in many religions, UFOs have become part of Scripture. And this is what the UNCW professor is writing about. Writing about the fact that this should be a little bit more commonplace and more acceptable, because if you look at your own damn religion, there was UFOs in the damn books. So why are we so scared about it? Why do we shy away from talking about UFOs when some of the books you use, for example, the Bible, talks about in many events that there are UFOs, that the prophets noticed UFOs, they've seen things. Now, I'm sure they saw these as miracles, but why would we see those now? Why would we say? I don't think many people would say that it's a miracle. They'd say it's E.T. It's an alien, it's a gray, it's a reptilian. Or it's China or Russia. It's one of them. You pick the one you want. The other thing is that when you look about these stories about things like orbs and ships and things like that, think about how long ago these scriptures were written, and think about our plight today. How weird having to deal with just hundreds of thousands, even millions of points of data confirming what you might have found in a biblical scripture happening still today. And the only answer we get is it's got to be some adversary. I feel like we've been robbed. And we're going to continue to be robbed because they're not giving us the truth. Anyway, so her information was so compelling that she actually appears in one of the episodes of UFO on Showtime, which is that documentary series. And the Showtime documentary, it's real about, interviewing people that are really big in ufology circles. And also kind of looking at what is it that influences how people perceive this crazy phenomena that is starting to spread. Okay, let's be honest about it. We wouldn't have all these conversations about religion and ancient aliens and all that shit if finally the topic of UFOs started to make some traction. But it's done that in the past as well. So we'll see how far it gets. I feel like we might reach Wuhan flu G, the G variant, before this UFO craze disappears. But it's going to take a lot of people putting stuff together, reporting, and trying to make sense of things to keep it alive. So, I don't know. I think from past experience and history kind of says that our UFO craze might come to an end fairly shortly, especially if the U.S. government after having congressional hearings, end up saying, as usual, that this is just more swamp gas that we dumb citizens are just unfamiliar with. The link is in the description. Check it out. And if you've seen the episode with our little professor, Diana Pasulka, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts on what she was able to bring to the Showtime special.
I'm a selfish kind of person with a soul trying to fly. I aim to break the laws of nature and learn to love before I die. I was naked then, I am naked now, and my nakedness is my sole account. I'm unfaithfulness, I'm a fucking clown, but I tried my best, yes I tried. I don't like shallow conversations, even less when they go deep. In almost every situation, it's hard to tell if I'm for real. I was naked then, I'm naked now, and my nakedness is my sole account. I'm unfaithfulness, I'm a fucking clown, but I tried my best, yes I tried. I tend to be a shitty listener and always force my own beliefs. So come and shine light upon my prison stand and help me quell this rivalry. I was naked then, I am naked now, and my nakedness is my sole account. I'm unfaithfulness, I'm a fucking clown, but I tried my best, yes I tried. I'm a selfish kind of person with a soul that just won't die, defying laws of Mother Nature. Help me see beyond the line.
Get down. 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 Get down or I'll put you down. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah, the next article kind of starts off talking about Ancient Aliens, the cable TV series. I can tell you right now, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, I've never watched like one fucking episode of the Ancient Aliens thing. I don't know. It just, I guess early on in my career as a podcaster, if you can call it that shit, I really didn't dig the idea of ancient aliens, because I'm like, for fuck's sake, really? You've got people now who are saying they're getting abducted. Who the fuck cares if there's an ancient alien evidence somewhere? No one cares. Focus on what's happening now. It's the same thing I say about NASA. Stop fucking looking for aliens on a planet that are 13 billion years dead. Why don't you look for shit that's there now? The shit that Elon is going to step on and then bring back to our planet, as COVID-49. Or in this case, because this is episode number 69, that's what it's going to be. Wuhan Flu 69. It sounds like a song, too, to be honest. Yeah. So this article, the question is, UFOs in the news, are aliens a threat to traditional religion? Yes, they are. Those of you who are fucking fanatics, when it comes to religion, you are threatened by aliens. You don't know what the fuck to do. You literally have no clue how you fit on the planet that is your universe. Because truly, the fanatic who's into religion, by the way, Bugs is kicking it up behind me right now with the snoring. The fanatic who's into religion believes that this planet and everything on it really is the center of the universe, because that's God created us, whatever your God is. They planted your ass on this planet. And hell, really, according to religion, you weren't even planted as a monkey. You were planted as a seed. And from that seed, someone ripped off a fucking rib and made the other seed. And then they seeded together the rest of the fucking world. I don't know. Some of you get it, right? You understand. Prometheus Entertainment, which is the guys behind Ancient Aliens, in 2010, they asked this question: if ancient aliens visited Earth, what was their legacy, and did they leave behind clues that still exist? I don't know. Anybody knows that fucking answer to that question, right? How we can't even define what the hell's going on now. How are you gonna go and define whether or not ancient aliens were, doing their thing, humping monkeys, a few thousand years ago? We're not gonna know that. We don't even know what the fuck happened to the dinosaurs. Really, we're just guessing. We don't know anything. We don't even know why Geraldo Rivera went into that stupid-ass vault that he knew for damn sure there was nothing in it. These are the things we can't answer. And we probably never will. Like the fact that we'll never answer whether or not ancient aliens existed. And when you look at the last season of Skinwalker Ranch, that question came up about ancient aliens. Now, let's not get it twisted, because two of their folks on the show did appear on Ancient Aliens. So that might be the tie-in. But the question was, is there something buried under Skinwalker Ranch that could have come from an ancient alien? But if we're so ready to believe in ancient aliens, then you have to, for your own fucking sanity, have to find a place somewhere in your mind and your heart to be able to share the landscape of the universe with an alien. An alien that apparently the God that you follow neglected to mention in your book of choice. That maybe there's aliens that want to come down and do the hokey pokey, do that thing called sodomy, just for scientific purposes. I don't know. It really is a loaded question, right? But I really think that fanatics are the ones that are losing it right now. Especially if you see that you have a government acknowledging. Well, they didn't acknowledge shit. They said China or Russia, but if you have them running programs titled Advanced Aerial Threat Phenomena, well, they wouldn't be too advanced at least more advanced than your own programs, unless they weren't from here. And while they might not be ready to admit that, come on, we can read between the fucking lines. We do it all the damn time. That's how you get dates. That's how you meet people. That's how Dre met Davina. They read between the lines. And I might be kidding there, but that might be exactly true. Call me the psychic. Let me get my tarot cards. There is a person that has a doctorate in philosophy from the Cambridge University, the esteemed, very popular Cambridge University, Stephen C. Meyer. He says the logic is that many people assume life is special. It really is. That human beings are uniquely purposed and created in God's image, and that this life made in God's image, cannot exist anywhere else. The funny thing about what Stephen wrote there is that he says the human beings are uniquely purposed. For what? What the fuck are we purposed for? Nobody fucking knows. Not even in religion. You've seen the movies, right? Somebody always goes up to the church. You know, they go up to the altar. They kneel down. It's God, I don't know my place in life. God, help me. Happens in the movies all the time. Happens in real life. We have no clue what in the fuck we're here for. And our religion hasn't helped us with that. None of them, to be honest. I mean, I don't know about Gandhi and him and, stuff like that. Maybe his religion helped him in some way, but for fuck's sake, all the other religions, what are you doing? You're doing nothing. You're basically at the center of a shitstorm, which apparently Angeli and her aliens in the Mojave Mountain are trying to save you from. This is what the article is talking about. It's about that question. If there's ancient aliens, were you made in some kind of alien test tube when some, reptilian made it with an orangutan? And then there's you, right now, almost 2021 years later, you are the offspring of an alien and a baboon. So there you go. I mean, what can you do? Nothing you can do about that. There's another quote in here. Well, actually, this particular person did write some books. Apparently, they were controversial. And these titles included Signature in the Cell, DNA, and the Evidence of Intelligent Design, and The Return of the God Hypothesis. I mean, think about it. Like, it is. Here's my thing. I get the whole religion thing, trying to keep people kind of keep them chill in life, and make those right decisions and things like that. But when you think about the things that we've discovered over history, especially in more recent history, not like when we were chucking arrows at birds, like physically, not bow and arrow. When you think about all those things, you think about where we are now, and you look at the advances in medicine, which for fuck's sake are falling short anyway, because we can't solve very much. But especially when in terms of DNA, when you look at DNA and what it means at that level, for it to be the building blocks of who you are, it's amazing. Now think about an entity. It may be a godly entity, all-knowing entity, but what kind of an entity would have that knowledge to produce a human being, an entire planet, and all these different building blocks of life? When you really think about it, to believe that one entity did that it's as hard to fathom as fathoming and thinking about the size of the universe itself. You just can't. So the easiest thing is just believe in a higher power and just go with it. But if you're a fanatic, you're not going to believe in aliens. You're not going to believe in UFOs. And most fanatics that really tout the Bible line or their religious text believe that UFOs are the devil. They're demons. They're the great lie, the great deception. Fuck, I feel deceived by them. I'm not even lying about that. They are deceitful little fuckers, aren't they? There's more to this article if you want to read about it. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that feel conflicted by this in many ways. But it's kind of like, a jack of all trades, You need to put on your religion hat on Sundays or whatever day you practice your religion. And then all the other days, get your tinfoil hat out because we're about to get crazy and go probing hunting. Check out the link in the description and let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think religion has a place when it comes to ET? And does ancient aliens, do they really exist? Or is that just a way to sell commercials? Okay, by the way, over 200 episodes. Completely nuts.
You said, baby, I'm not feeling it lately, but I hope we can be friends, don't you? You said maybe if things weren't so crazy, I could love you like I used to do. Then you kissed me goodbye and wished me the best in life. Said you needed some time to figure yourself out, but I knew right there you would come back here any day just to tell me you regret everything you said on the day. 'Cause I know that's your game. You say you do so well without me. You say you feel so good without me. Then why you hit the spiral of thinking on your own? Lover, take some time to recover. Don't go chase another high too soon. Honey, I know breakups ain't funny. Still you're smiling at me like a fool. Then you kiss me goodnight and say it's the last time, but I knew right there you would come back here any day just to tell me you regret everything you said on the day. 'Cause I know that's your game. You say you do so well without me. You say you feel so good without me. Then why you hit the spiral of thinking on your own? You say you couldn't care less about me. Say you don't mind the arms around me. Then why you hit the spiral of thinking on your own? Cause I know that you get. You say you do so well without me. You say you feel so good without me. Then why you hit the spiral of thinking on your own? You say you couldn't care less about me. Say you don't mind the arms around me. Then why you hit the spiral of thinking on your own?
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
Who the fuck is this asshole?
Sometimes we come across these advertisements, right? So I've said in the past, New Fork probably is the site for you to go to retrieve sightings. Don't fuck around with other websites, MUFON, Petty Delight. Don't go there. It's not worth it. There's an article, and it's got to be like some kind of a PR stunt anyway. They're saying that they are the newest UFO database, and you can actually search for decades of UFO sightings in your area. Mind you, right before the podcast, I visited the website. It's called UFO Discovery. And right from the word go, not impressed. Not at all. I can't, it just makes no sense. Really, just go to New Fork. But anyway, let's just finish the article here while we're at it, because it is what it is. So UFO Discovery apparently lets you keep track of UFO reports. I mean, they're not even with the program. It's UAP. UAP is huge. Just go with it. But you can look at UFO reports over the years. You can search incidents in your own area, and that's their big thing. You literally can look in your area. Now, it does have a pretty nifty little search feature, though the website layout is shit. I hope they're listening to me. Here's some things that they have listed. There was a UFO sighting back in 1970 in Bennington, Vermont. And if you live in Bennington, not fucking Bennington. That vodka's getting to me. At Bennington, Vermont, you can actually check it out and find out if someone else in your neck of the woods actually got a UFO incident reported. Like if you lived in Ranger, Texas, and you're Ronnie Dawson and someone's trying to screw around with you from 4.2 far, you can go onto this website and look up Ranger, Texas in the last few weeks, find out if something went down. According to them, that is. So it turns out that if you lived in Bennington, Vermont in 1970, you can actually see that there was a report of a telepathic thought implantation by alien beings aboard an unidentified flying object on June 1st, 1970. So if you guys are from Vermont, please get your head checked. You may have some kind of an implant from a UFO you don't even remember. This is a PSA, UFO, UAP. Now, there's other reports, of course, that people put in here just because they have no clue what the hell they're looking at. Like on February 20th, 5:25 a.m., apparently somebody saw hundreds of white dots moving. Then the question appears, was it Starlink? What can you do? Maybe it was. You'll never know. Because you're not even getting your satellite porn now. Because of that stupid entry you put in there. So they say the website contains about 73,000 self-reported UFO sightings. And you can probably find one in your area. It seems really like a novelty here. It's not so much people trying to do like serious research. But like I said, it has a good thing as far as the way you search for stuff. But that's about it. Nothing else is going on there. They actually stated that in their data, Norwich in the UK, they've actually hadn't seen a UFO in over 2 years. 2 years. Other sightings they have here, this is all in Texas, by the way. I decided to look up Texas, see what they had. April 25th, 2 white dots at high altitude, traveling very close to each other. What's unusual about that? 119, January 19th, Dallas, Fort Worth, and they reported lights. For fuck's sake. If you've ever driven through Dallas, Fort Worth at night, all there is fucking lights. Are you serious? Anyway, January 26th, New Fork. Apparently this came in from New Fork into this site, and they reported no significant information provided. There's your sign. This website is not ready to embrace UFO sightings. That's all I got to say. April 7th, down here in San Antonio, A individual witnessed a cluster or possibly one large structure traveling northwest to southeast over San Antonio metropolitan area. And then he says, Starlink? That's my review. It's not a paid advertisement because I just shit it all over the website. But if you feel like going there, the name of the website is UFO Discovery. Maybe they're just getting started. Maybe they're trying to get their feet wet or something like that. But for fuck's sake, throw your whole body into the water because, damn, that really, it's horrible. It really is. It's depressing. One more track, and then we'll get into probing from the 80s. This next story, I just don't know. Like literally, since I found this story, I've been trying to figure out how the hell am I gonna relate this story because I feel like there is no damn way that I'm gonna do this story any kind of justice. Apparently, at one time on Coast to Coast, Philip Kinsella claimed that he was on board the extraterrestrial spacecraft in 1989 after he returned from work near Bedfordshire. I'm sure I fucked that up. No, actually, it's Bedfordshire. I know someone from the UK is going to talk some shit. I get it. Philip claimed that in his 1989 encounter, he was woken up in the middle of the night before being levitated into a UFO. Now, this wasn't it wasn't just like, oh, I'm being levitated, and you hear that his voice is getting further and further away. It turns out he was butt-ass naked, strapped down to his bed, and then probed. You can't write this stuff. Like, literally, here's my question for a lot of people out there who don't believe in, aliens and UFOs and TV. Who in their fucking right mind would seriously maybe they're not on their right mind. I guess that's the argument, right? They're fucking crazy as hell. But who in their right mind would go publicly to say that they were pulled from their bed by an alien and then they were probed while they were butt-ass naked on a medical table and then returned to repeat this some other day? I mean, that is not something I don't think anyone would want to share in the public unless they're really fucked up in the head. I don't know. I'm just saying. That's just, it's not my kind of thing to share. Honestly, if I ever get probed, I'm not going to come out. Not going to tell anybody shit, not even on the podcast. I'll keep that shit to myself. Anyway, Kinsella says that he had this situation happen, and he actually lived with a twin outside of Bedfordshire at the time when the incident took place. And so they actually got home from work one night, and he says that his twin brother Ronald, when the incident started to occur in the early evening of that night, they felt like they were in a trance. Isn't that crazy? Wouldn't that be like horrific? Because you literally feel completely helpless. Can't move, can't do a damn thing, and then something just strips you butt-ass naked. He says he woke up when he was being pulled towards the unidentified flying object, because for fuck's sake, there were UFOs back then in 89. And then he blacked out. The next thing he recalled was that he found himself in what he could only describe as a medical environment. He says it was a little dingy, it was very hot, but he was butt-ass naked. Is that scary? Wouldn't you feel violated if you go to bed, you're dressed up in your favorite, superhero PJs, and then all of a sudden you have this little glimpse that you were being pulled into a UFO, you pass out, you wake up, and your underoos are gone. Scary shit right there. He says when he turned to his right, there was what he can only describe a really ridiculous, as it may seem, 3 reptilians. They didn't communicate, but they were in a kind of a mist around them. He says he was horrified. He was completely scared. He says it looked like they had some sort of implement or a tool around the lower part of his body region, what we come to know today as an anus. Like, listen, I guess back in the 89, they didn't know how to say ass or anus, but that's what he's talking about. They were in his lower region, the lower part of his body. He says he was petrified. He said he screamed and yelled because he wanted them to remove the device. Like, this is really graphic. Like, he gave no fucks. Like, he literally got on coast to coast and he just let it all hang out. He did. I've never heard a story about probing so graphic. He continues to say that he just wanted the thing out of him because it felt organic. He said these beings, whatever they were, had zero compassion, no love, no sense of empathy at all. So now we go to the story that's unfolding for this group of beings out in the Mojave Desert by this Anjali, who says they're here to rescue humanity. One probe at a time, I guess. With or without the grease. Why don't she take this story, because we got the guy's name, say, hey, fucker, did you do this? Did you do this? Yeah, take that to the mountain. Find out if Philip was alien handled by one of those guys. I mean, they're not going to admit it, right? Yeah, do it in front of George Knapp so he can report it. This is what bugs me about people that say that aliens are here to save us from ourselves. That they're happy-go-lucky and they don't want to see us fuck things up because they love us. They think we're the cat's meow. Well, no, fucker. Somebody's out there probing people. We want to know who it is. How about that? Somebody take Philip. Somebody send Anna Jalili. Send her Philip's name and says he needs to be there with you so he can freaking confront his attacker. How about that? I mean, there's like no abduction rights. That's what she needs to take a freaking document out there. Abduction rights. You get probed, you get probed. A probe for a probe. I don't know. You know, I feel that people that want to believe that aliens are peaceful, loving potheads are wrong. They're entirely wrong. You know, even the peaceful have some kind of fucking agenda. You know, their agenda might be just to get high all the time. I get it. But they got to get there somehow. And sometimes people who just want to get high and feel good do some nasty shit in order to make that happen. So I'm pretty sure these aliens, if they are in the Mojave, in that mountain, they do some nasty shit when the humans aren't around. I guarantee you. Anyway, he continues to say that he recalled that later he was rescued from the examination by a small gray life form. And at that time, the device, which was inside his posterior, was slowly and ever gently retracted. Then the straps came off, and then he noticed that the three reptilians had left. They just disappeared. I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain alien abduction stories because we're in this weird place where we really are. It feels like we're getting closer to solving a lot of this, but we are just decades away from really finding out what the hell's going on. You know, and one day we may wake up and we've all been probed. We've all been part of this alien conspiracy, and we really have been the guinea pigs. Maybe we've been enslaved. Maybe there's something in your anus that's gold, platinum to aliens, and that's why they come down and probe you. Because you are the economy of their planet, right from your anus. This has been episode 69 of the Tempest universe. I don't know. Honestly, again, I know it's all fun and games, all jokes or whatever. I'm sure Philip didn't find it funny. But still, there's got to be a reason why people have these experiences. And again, to try to identify these experiences. I mean, fuck's sake, I don't think Putin's going around digging in people's asses looking to enhance his economy. And nor are the people in China. So somebody tell me who the hell is doing this. God damn it, Angelili. You need to figure this shit out. You're ridiculous. Anyway, thank you for joining the podcast today. I'm still on the, I'm still trying to figure out whether or not I should turn the video from Saturday, which has now been renamed. It was the Return of the Tarot Card Reader, but now it's been renamed Drunken History with Davina. So I don't know if it'll translate well as a podcast episode on the Dark Horde, but for fuck's sake, just go to the website and watch it. I need about 500 to 1,000 more subscribers anyway, so get to it. I thank you guys for listening. I appreciate every single one of you in every single country you're in. So it's time for me to say ciao until Wednesday. And we'll see whether Elon is getting probed by Bezos. Still, ciao. By the way, if you ever wondered why the Tempest universe even exists, this is the reason why.
Time has come to refine yourself and let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and prove them wrong. It's time for rebirth. Yeah, time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will feel free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you are the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck.